Good morning, everybody. That's another week over, closer to a new year. Amazing, isn't it? Well, market still hasn't moved. We thought it was going to get something going yesterday. It popped up at the end of the day there, and we covered earlier in the week. Well, we could look at it. Right? Just the line chart. So sideways. It inched up a little bit. The close was a little bit higher and getting closer to that high from August. See if we can get there. Um, so things are inside of yet the whole inside of the middle of the range. No big deal. So initially, just looking at this, well, it was higher and up and whatever. While it's above these closes, it's not a big deal. And now it's, well, whatever. Not a big deal down either. Nothing's a big deal. Right. So, and 10 o'clock, Robert, ISM. Powell, I guess he'll have something to say at 11 o'clock after he sees 10 o'clock, which we have to believe he already knows the 10 o'clock number. Right. So, um, that number just generally is viewed as, hey, if it's above 50, everything is strong. If it's below 50, that's an economy that's weakening. Well, it's below 50 for a pretty long time, just like the yield curve has been inverted all just about all year. And, the markets have just been in a choppy range. So the typical economic guidance numbers really haven't related to something of, I guess, to the past in a significant way as it has. So, we'll look into next year and see. But, just looking at the weekly chart here, you see, the advance that started from the 2022 decline. It was going down and it bottomed out, and then we had this correction, and now we've got this trading range going on, a wide range where prices came down and missed tagging the major support, and you know went under what we call minor support a little bit and V'd and went back up. There's too many anticipating the end of year rally, and we'll see if in December if it can poke its head above here. But we've already got the Dow having led its way in a greater than 100% retracement where it's done that. And well, let's take a look at that. I'll show you SPX. And, the ranges have narrowed now to about 24 points, give or take the ups and down, ups and downs. So today's number is 4,600. If, well, the markets are down a little bit. So, like I said yesterday, when markets were up a little bit, go ahead and see if it'll rise a little bit. And because it was 4605, which didn't get close. Well, it got a little close. Anyway, you could have got above that and down below. So, what other than the number coming out, you know, will it tag either one of these, which is probably, I guess, about equally distance, give or take. So probably not. Probably not. Well, Robert's saying maybe rotation from diamond to the other three. No, no. Oh, you're saying now, well, when we look at it that way, look, tech has been going up. Right? It's been a wild year, but tech is the big winner, along with communications. That was the biggest loser last year. So as interest rates started to back off a bit, back in August, we said, look out, that where interest rates were, the dollar and interest rates started to bottom out. And that's what caused this correction. And so, tech is up here, it's led the way. So money, the thought is, would rotate out of tech. What's it going to go into? Well, healthcare maybe starting to bottom out. That's been going down all year. Medical devices, pharmaceuticals. If you take a look at Pfizer, that's been getting crushed. for quite a long time. But, there's a lot of talk about these COVID vaccines, and Pfizer was a big thing. Maybe, this is anticipation of, I don't know if there's any lawsuits going on there, but a lot of people have been hurt by these vaccines. And I mean, if I had a family member that got injected with this stuff, I'd be suing them. But hey, I don't know. You can see it's down here this morning, but this whole sector has been getting beat up, and maybe this is where money will flow into, and next year. So we talk about rotation. XLP, which has been a big underperformer, consumer staples, that had a turnaround day. This is defensive. Resistance is up here, so maybe it'll get up here into the end of December or so. We'll see. Maybe the 200 MA, but that's what we call a correction bar, where it breaks the lows and removes some potential sellers as stops get hit, and then it bounces back up again. Saying, aren't we moving forward? Aren't they moving with their weight loss drug? Well, that's another potential, who knows what out there, Pavel. I mean, here's a drug that people used that have diabetes, and people are injecting them into them. So we figure, hey, the people that had diabetes didn't die from injecting themselves with that. So the assumption is, people that are overweight that inject themselves, they won't die. I mean, I don't know. You don't have diabetes. I don't know enough about it. I know of people that are injecting themselves with it, and supposedly they are losing weight, but clearly, there's an excellent example of, here's news out there that says, hey, they're making a bunch of money from this weight loss drug, but the stock keeps going down. Well, these are the kind of things that if people that gave their money to a manager, right, to invest their money for them, and then they would said, hey, we're going to buy Pfizer. It's oversold, or it's undervalued now. And I was like, well, and look at the weight loss drug and the money they're making. Why does the stock keep going down? They can tell the difference between up, down, and sideways. Something's wrong. Has it reached support yet? So, some common sense things and basic information go a long way for people that are giving their money to others, or for themselves, of course. Anyway, so we talk about rotation. We talk about what has underperformed, and consumer staples. You can look at things like Hershey, and I don't know. I haven't looked at Coca-Cola in a little while, but those stocks that are in this particular sector. Or you just go ahead and you set up a page with like this, pretty simple stuff. And you can put others. I've got a whole bunch of others here. That's how I go through things relatively quick and say, hey, what's outperforming, and then, put it in a higher time frame. And, KIE, here's insurance. It's done nothing. That broke out above highs. Looks like it can go higher. Regional banks, a bottoming pattern. So, technically setting up your platform to be able to look at different sectors in multiple time frames. Like, here's biotech. No interest in biotech, even though it is bottoming out. But this particular biotech sector seems to be leading. And you look to the left, and it's near a prior low. So maybe, this has got a whole lot of overhead resistance. But that when we look at rotation, we look at what has outperformed and looking at what underperformed, and so on. I mentioned the Dow, and you see yesterday was a wide range bar. As this accelerated higher above this prior high, a greater than 100% retracement, and now we get a wide range bar. And here's another piece of information that suggests momentum is going to stall. Doesn't mean it's going to collapse. It means it's very close to it. It's going to stall based on a wide range bar after an advance. It's extended from the 20. It's a greater than 100% retracement. Now you have one piece of information that's black and white historically. Momentum's going to stall. When is it going to stall? I don't know. Maybe today, maybe sometime next week. But should you buy the Dow at this point? Duh, McFly, no. It's going to stall. Let's see how much it corrects. Does it go sideways? Or does it pull back? And we'll see what it does. Here's the futures, wide range bar, greater than 100% retracement, initial rejection up here, and support down here. We'll see if it closes under the wide range bar in a week or so. We'll come back and look at that. Now, when we talk about rotation, you keep hearing a lot of money managers, analysts talking about the Russell. And many, many years of underperformance where it's been in a trading range, basically since 2022, it went down and it did nothing, all year. You see, just chop back and forth, back and forth. And we're going to see, is there rotation into these small caps where many are anticipating that? And I guess that's maybe why they're buying it other than just the end of the year. But does this get out of this range? And, top of the, when it gets to the top of the range, there's going to be sellers there. So, 200, that's been a sticking point. We'll see. And of course, it better not get down below the bottom of this range because there's a huge void. And if we see that happen in 2024, that'd just be one piece of information that says something is very wrong if these are way down there. All right, so, let's look at the usual things that we do look at, but things aren't moving here. Interest rates are into the support level where we're anticipating that they're going to stabilize. And while they stabilize, we don't want to see them advance too much, and we don't want to see them go down too much. Right? We want to see it be just right where they kind of hang around here. And we'll be looking for that, in the coming months, of course. But today, the dollar is showing a little bit of strength. It's broken down. So that's a little bit of a negative for this morning. You can see, the euro having a pretty steep pullback, after that bottomed. Let's see if it holds here at that bottoming tail bar and these converging moving averages. Bitcoin's up here a bit, but that's doing nothing. Everything's doing nothing over, since the holiday. See if you can get going. Crude oil doing nothing. We talked about this bottoming. It got a big rejection yesterday as it reached this pivot high, was rejected, but it's still, we'll see if it bottoms out here. Been doing nothing, as you can see, for 3 weeks. Or does it make another dive next week? So that's another thing we'll be talking about next week as to what is crude oil? Does it begin to turn around, or does it make the next drop? And remember, way back here, we were having that same conversation about Bitcoin, where it was whipping back and forth, and then it ignited off of those lows there, and see the converging MAs, and so that came together. Gasoline, that got knocked back down yesterday. Is it bottoming out, or is it? So if we see these breaking down next week, so let's just back up the conversation a little bit, and I'm going to hand over to Dan. The things that we look at, what's moving the markets besides market internals, into market analysis? Are interest rates going up or down? Is oil going up or down? Is the dollar going up or down? So if gasoline and crude oil start moving lower next week, and the dollar is moving lower and interest rates are moving lower, I'm not saying collapsing, they just start moving lower, and we think about rotation, that maybe next week is where the Russell begins to outperform. And that rotation goes into those small caps where they haven't been able to get out of their way yet. And they've been trying, but they keep getting rejected. So if those intermarket relationships should come together next week, we may actually see these are the Russell futures actually break out above these highs. So keep that in mind. Obviously, for right now, that ain't happening. It's been trending down like everything else. So ISM at 10 o'clock, keep that in mind. And it's likely to move markets around a bit. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Hey, that SMH looks like could be working on an M top. So Friday, happy 0 DTE day. See if we can find any candidates, but it's harder than usual with the low VIX. But we have our usual suspects. I noticed, in the video we talked about cracking here yesterday after a little failed buy setup. And that's something that we teach. Buy setups from climactic sell setups often fail. And, this was a poor buy setup anyway because of the way it retraced from a square top. But look at this void down here. So this is setting up for a day trade short. That's a beautiful bearish 15 right there with pre-market data. And I would say SMCI is a cousin, big old topping tail, got rejected trading range, but that's a call spread watch. Yeah, I had two alarms go off here. Tesla, we have a 230 put spread that ain't looking so hot right now. Breakout failure. And I told Greg, I said, the I I just don't trust Tesla more than 3 days. He's just, whether it's Musk on his Twitter machine or news. So the news today is a new truck coming out. But yeah, definitely, Thomas, if there's any juice. FedEx. Yeah, that's bullish. Bullish. There's put spread idea. And maybe directional next week if we get a 1, 2, 3. And then I had an alarm on Babo go off. We're long puts in this. And we entered on Monday. It was in the weekend letter. So this has been a very easy trade to manage. Weekly, monthly in alignment. Nice gap down. So the puts expire today. We'll just take our money, go into trail mode. I tighten the stump. Right here, 74.52 pre-market high. Delta 20 on YouTube. KMB puts, KMB please. Yeah, it's a wide range closing breakout, the bottoming pattern. But since it's such a big range, I obviously wouldn't go all in. Whenever I see these, my wish, give me a 1, 2, 3. Let it rest for a day, which you hear me saying all the time it's 26 15-minute bullish 15-minute bars. And then, yeah, it has plenty of room to go. So I put it on the list. Let's go to earnings here. People in the green room know whenever I see things ripping like this into earnings or tanking, just as a general rule, my bias is to fade it the next, after the news. And this one's gapping down here. It's had a big run. Nothing to do. Path 2275. I would be selling that pre-market if I were in it. Nothing to do. Marvel 53.25. So that's a bearish gap. There's a call for a candidate. Maybe Condor, maybe day trade short. Put it in a window. Let's see what it does. I got knock on the other computer. Let me put Marvel there. Knock is not earnings, but it's just a bullish daily weekly from yesterday we had on our watch list. Yesterday for Traders Corner, I did a presentation on buy setups on all time frames. That is a wonderful buy setup on the weekly chart. We overlay other concepts. So this one started with a gap over a red bar, breakdown failure, deep retracement over two pivots, controlled pullback, 50% retracement. That's beautiful. V top, price void. That is a class A beautiful weekly right there. Now my daily wide range breakout. I know there's some junk over here, but ideally, again, with the market coming in here a little bit, ideally we get a 1, 2, 3, and this will be a no-brainer trade for Monday. Dill was bullish, now gapping under the base, so call spread candidate. IoT. Alex, remember we were talking about selling the 22 puts? Nice gap. Look how much that on a pullback. I didn't do any earnings trades yesterday. I might have tried on IO2 actually, but I did not get filled anything. ESTC, that's a monster gap up. Wow. Look at that. When I can't even see the price on a weekly chart, that's massive gap. But that is a long-term bottoming pattern on the monthly. But the problem is it's gapping up here. I mean that would have been my target if I were in down here at 80. That's the monster move. Papa Delta 2320. Now, had it been opening right here, just over the red bar, then that would have been a fantastic 5-minute high, day trade long, gap trade. But now the gap's up here. I don't know what's it. Bigger the gap, it's messing up my reward to risk. Alta also, man, for a big expensive stock, that is a big gap. Look at that. I can't even see. Can't even see the daily print up here. That's bullish gap. AMBA. We were talking about in the green room doing a bull call debit spread as a speculative directional earnings trade. And so that would have worked. That would have worked. Nice bottoming pattern, nice close. I'll keep an eye on it for a new trade. Zoom Z opening flat, no pattern. Although, you see how I just have these 4 little charts? Look how my eye, of all those charts, that's what my eye found. W bottom on the monthly, 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. So it's actually, if it can chop around for a week or so, sideways, just chop, slop, and hold. Today's Friday. Hold Wednesday's low. Then that ain't bad. I'm gonna put that back on the list. Although there's nothing to do today. JCO, nasty gap. And this is what we call a bull trap. Look, people were, inside information, whatever the case, they're buying like fiends into earnings. And now they're all holding a losing position. Time is changing. Bottoming pattern, sure. Yeah. And look at, I don't know what's up with Pfizer, but Pfizer is a nasty gap. I saw pre-market. Yeah, we'll put J&J on there. I mean, J&J obviously is hugely diversified. So it's less of just a drug company. Again, yeah. shampoo house, ZPH. All right, those are all my earnings trades. These are just um, miscellaneous things now. LNTH over yesterday's high. Looks like it might bounce a little bit. We actually did a put spread yesterday. Dow, somebody emailed me this morning saying, hey, what about resistance, this and that? It's actually a big old inverse head and shoulders from this double bottom. And yes, you have a void here. So the question is, how much do I think it will go in there? Like, I don't know. The 200 looks like a logical first target. And then just let the stock tell you how far it wants to go. AIG, Greg mentioned that KIE sector strong. Here's a closing breakout. I saw this gapping up today. Pixie. I missed this yesterday. Look at that thing ripping. Yeah, so that could be the start of a long-term bottom. Southern. Let's set an alarm. I think I did already. 71.22. No. So this is a breakout pattern. JHG. It hit my alarm up here, but we'll come back to it, maybe 30-minute high. GCO, we looked at Charlie bottoming pattern. Daily, weekly, you got a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly with a void. So this I like, it's on my list. It's here in my middle chart. Charlie. We looked at those. All right, Aichi, this is your list now. CCJ is a 180 closing breakout, so sure, that looks good. All right, knock alarm went off. All right, so this here, I don't need Marvel. Well, I got knock on the other computer. Oh, Marvel, I think I said what? A condor or whatever, I forgot. All right, knock, Kevin's door. Looks good. Let's watch it. MEMR. Ah, shoot, this is our short that's been refusing to fall. So shoot, that's why my up alarm went off. So let's move stop on 5-minute high. Yeah, I mean it gapped over our stop, so our vanilla rules are just give it 5 minutes. Sometimes we'll give a 30-minute rule, but in this case, 5 is plenty. Just so, market week, maybe we get lucky, gapped up here. I don't want to get stopped out on one print. All right, Marvel, what was I saying? All right, yeah, that's an ugly gap. So nothing to do there. That's it. Those are all my alarms. AD line gap down -700, even though the VIX gap down too, ticked -400 is weak. IWM actually fell the most so far. Yeah, GE from yesterday, sure, that's a machine. AMBA, see now it's too extended. Greg, you want 5-minute high on knock or wait? What do you think?
Yeah, looks fine.
Look at our BABA tanking. We might just close in a weakness here. Let's check put spread. I checked put spread yesterday and knock. It was 50 cents, but then it fell a little bit. I think what puts do we have? 78 or 80? I forget. Nice trade this turned out to be. We have the 80 puts that expire today. All right now it's 780, which is intrinsic value. See, it's so deep in the money, we're getting nothing for time value. And you know what? Let's just trail 5-minute bars high. We have a beautiful game. Um, all right, so I'll keep an eye on that. We're just covering the weakness. Man, this Charlie is still rocking. Shoot. Gap and go. I don't like gap and goes. I mean, I do if it's a no-brainer igniting pattern, then I just do a 2-minute high. Um, let's see. Oh, you were long then? Nice. Yeah, I'd be selling the gap up too. They're strong. It's just too far from the 20 for me, and I just personally hate gold, so it has to be such a nice setup. Um,
It does look good. Look at GDX too.
right, I'm not. I know it looks good. I'm just saying it's for me. I kind of like GDX better
Yeah.
than that. I think I got more room on this. So scan. I'm not saying don't trade them. Fine. I like the number 2 points. I like GDX better. Number one, number two, scan the sector and see which other ones that we like better. And was slopping all over the place. Yeah. LUV, we've been watching. Greg, Tesla stops about to hit. Do we take it? Or 30-minute low? Put spread for next week with 230s.
Oh, I think even if it went to 230, it's going to bounce. It's a greater than 100% retracement. This gap down. I would just hold the breath for at least now and see what happens. And it's on the support.
That's why I'm asking. He's stopping out.
I'm just looking at the chart. I'm not in it, so easy for me to say, but that's why you're asking me. I mean, I would never short something like this. As I look at it and say where support is, I mean, I wouldn't be buying it either, but it could surprise us and bounce back up again. I don't know what the news was. Was it him telling Disney to F off and everybody else? Did you see
No,
that video?
no, it was stuff on the new.
He out now told the guy they were at this doing this interview thing, and he told him, "Fuck you! You're gonna threaten me with money?" It was crazy. And the Cybertruck commercial, wow. They did a thing where they took, I don't know, a 40, like a tractor, right? Like a tractor pull. And they took an F-350 and like, okay, F-350 pulls this weight and how it increases as time goes on. And then they did it with the Cybertruck, and the Cybertruck blew it away.
Greg, this LUV. That's interesting. 30-minute high, maybe.
I don't like those kind of patterns. Do whatever.
XHB up alarm. Oh yeah, I was going through actually your list. Yeah, Poulter looks good. Sure, sure. Love yesterday's bottoming tail. And the X, wow, all-time highs. I like it actually. Stop yesterday's low. Yeah, I was just going through your list. Was Pulte on there? Total earnings. They're both bullish. So yeah, total earnings. I don't know what date, but they're both good.